Good morning, everybody. This is Vaughn Edmead of Average is Failure. And, I just wanted to talk to you guys really quickly about the Batman story that many of you guys have heard me do a speech on. So, some of you guys have heard me do this speech live. Some of you guys have seen my speech on YouTube about Batman versus Bane and when Batman was stuck in the pit. There's some certain things that I didn't touch on in the speech that can be touched on, however, and I wanted to just touch on a little bit. Probably the main thing, and this is especially going toward the black community. The other day when I was standing inside of my house, one of the things that I overheard a loud conversation outside, and there was a particular young man who seemed to be very upset. A young black kid, not kid, but he's probably in his like 20s, 30s. And as he's walking down the street, I see another black young man trying to calm him down and keep him calm. And, it got to the point where the first young man, he was like, yep, I just heard him say, listen, I don't care. I don't care if I lose my life. What do I have to live for anyway? Etc. And it seems that maybe somebody had gotten him upset and he wanted to go after the person, even if it would cost him his life. But he was at the point in his life where things didn't seem like it didn't seem like there was anything worth living for. And if you know anything about where it is that I currently live, there are a lot of young men who I think have that same sentiment, where when they look around their neighborhood, when they see the debilitated or the dilapidated look of their community, when it seems like there are no opportunities for them, when it seems like the opportunities that are there aren't necessarily going to be a tool for them to get ahead, but it's just going to be a tool for them to really just maintain and merely survive and to never thrive. There are a lot. It opened my eyes because I grew up in the suburbs. Even though it was an urban community, it was right outside of New York City, and we still were a very urban community. We were not necessarily a community where we experienced a lot of poverty, though we may have had some folks who were experiencing that. It was not necessarily something that was widespread in my community in Long Island, New York. So it was amazing to me to actually see and hear somebody vocalize the fact that they really did not feel that according to their environment, according to their situation, that they had anything to live for. And so as I was watching now this Batman movie, and I was thinking and reflecting on the message that I had developed through it, another thing hit me. And the thing about Bruce Wayne when he was stuck in that pit is that when he finally found something actually worth dying for, that's when he actually found something to live for. So, in contrast to the young man who he felt like he had nothing to live for, and so he was just like, yo, he doesn't even care if he dies. I want to admonish you guys, some of you guys might be feeling the same way, to to find a cause that you would be willing to die for. And when I say die, we don't even necessarily mean physically, but find a cause that you would be willing to sacrifice your time for. Find a cause that you would be willing to sacrifice your energy for. Find a cause that you would be willing to sacrifice some of your money for. And what's amazing about when you find that one thing that you're willing to sacrifice for, to in essence to die for, you begin to find out that is actually the very thing now that you are willing to live for also. And so, I've dedicated now my life to encouraging people, to motivating people, to empowering people, right? And I believe that that's something that I would be willing, like, I would rather die than to not be a person who encourages, a person who builds other people up, a person who builds leaders or what have you. Does it have its difficult moments? Absolutely. But because that's the very thing that, I'm willing to sacrifice and to die for, it's also the very thing that pushes me to live for it. And so I think there are a lot of young men, and young women also, in the urban community and in urban spaces, who it's time for you guys to start figuring out, what is it that I'm willing to die for? What's a good cause, a worthwhile cause for me to die for? A cause that would help and benefit other people, take their lives to the next level. And when you begin to find that, you will find that that is also the very thing that you should live for. So I just wanted to hit you guys with that, man. Thank you for tuning into Average is Failure. And if there's any content that you want me to address, anything that's going on in the world that you would like me to address, any question that you would like me to ask, send them my way. Send them to my email address, you know, vedmeet@hotmail.com if you would like to. Send them, just write me a message here on YouTube. Find me on Instagram at Coach Vaughn and just write them. That's probably the best way, truthfully. If you find me on Instagram and go to at Coach Vaughn, and just leave a message underneath one of my Instagram posts, I'll see it, I'll get the notification, and I'll try to do a video and answer your question. So, yeah, this is Coach Vaughn. I'm signing out. Time for me to go ahead and get to work. All right, peace.